Thank you for tuning in, everyone. I'm Coach Massimo, and today I have the co-founders of 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle here. And guys, thank you for giving me this opportunity to interview you. So I wanted to get all three of you together in one spot, talk about how 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle began, what it is, how you three decided to make it happen, and why you decided to make it happen, and what it means to you three.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. So, first, introduce yourselves.
Sure. I'm Alex D.
Brian Kaplan,
Jerry Mora from New York.
from Laguna Beach.
Colorado.
And actually I came from corporate world, actually. Married, I have 2 kids. So what was important to me was to keep my mind open to other income streams, because work in New York, 2 income streams actually wasn't enough. So I always kept my options open, and my first business back then was I got started in a video production company, my very first, because when I got married, actually, I hired a video crew, much like these guys, and they did a very poor job editing my own video.
So they weren't nearly as good as these guys.
These guys, no, I wish. But actually, you know what? That carves my future, because I decided to start my own video production company. It was my first business back then. So I saw, wow, I could do a much better job for other people. So back then, my business grew very fast because by word of mouth, and I was good at what I was doing. But I saw the writing on the wall where I didn't want to be busy. I was busy 40 weekends a year in addition to a full-time job. So imagine leaving your family, your wife, no time to do anything. But I was building a business, but I didn't have time freedom. I was locked to a full-time job, paying the bills, having health insurance, which is most important for a family. But even this video production company that I had, it was limited because I was stuck. I was busy. I could see my future busy weekends, 35, 40 weekends a year, like literally 2-3 years out. So imagine that. So I kept my options open, and that's what started I got started in multi-level marketing, network marketing, I've always been the open-minded kind of person. My wife was always very supportive. We started actually in the big A. Show the plan, draw the circles, go to people's houses, literally walk up to people in malls, meet new people. Every salesperson became a prospect. The 3-foot rule was really our rule. If this
You
person,
got that down, bud.
oh my God, if they sat next to me,
Still remember it.
If they sat next to me, this guy was a prospect. And if you didn't get a business card, or if you didn't actually get a phone number, you dropped the ball. So I quickly became a leader in this industry because you had to produce. So we'll leave it at there for now.
Right, thank you. How about you, Brian? Tell us a little bit about your history.
So I'm, like I said, from Colorado. Out of college, I've always like, I was taught from a very young age. I come from a family where you always just want to work for yourself. That was like ingrained in me from the time I could talk, right? My dad was an entrepreneur, so that's what he always told me, which is what I'm also telling my kids. So really right out of college, I got involved in the pawn shop business. So kind of a weird thing. I had never been in a pawn shop before, but my dad was investing with this particular company, and he helped me secure a loan and buy a brick and mortar retail business, which happened to be a pawn shop. I did that for 11 years, and at one point I had two stores. Very, very lucrative business. But if you are a business owner and you're watching this, then you know how labor intensive it is, how time intensive it is. Anytime you have employees, anytime you have merchandise or cash, if you're not there, then the business truly suffers. While I did make a very, very good living doing that, and I was able to, do great things with my family at that point. For my family, I guess I should say, because I had zero time. I was there every day of the week from open to close, especially in the early days. I had one employee. It was really, really trying. At one point, well, then actually I had mentioned one day to my manager who was running the store 11 years later, I said, you know, you ought to buy this thing from me. And lo and behold, like a few weeks later, he says,
He took that offer.
well, he goes, he says, hey, I got a loan, I can do it. And I was like, what? You know, so he was waving a 7-figure check in front of me, and I just had to get out of the deal. You know, it was like one of those too good to be true offers. Well, you know, I didn't really have a backup plan at that point. I just knew I didn't want to do this anymore. So I took the money and ran. It took me, you know, with family, you know, $1 million definitely does not last that long with a family of 5. So I did end up burning through all of that money. You know, I was trying new businesses. It's not like I was just spending it. I had opened up some call centers. I had done some different things, but none of which worked out. I ended up having to, you know, get a job, which at the time was a blessing because it was able to provide health insurance for the family and, you know, definitely get me out of the house and get my mind off the fact that I was going broke. Literally, I was still always hunting for something to do, which is actually how I met this guy. You know, at another event, and we were, you know, it was a networking event we were at, and I was trying to figure out how to make money. So I had all along just incurring more and more debt, trying to figure out what was real, what I wanted to do, and I came across an opportunity, and I was able to, you know, I did my job for a few years. I finally came across something that I liked and something that I believed in, and I was able to leave that job after, you know, 3 years, and here we are today. So
Awesome. So the first time you met him, tell us the setting. What kind of function was it?
it was funny. It was in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I got involved in a network marketing company which was selling a travel product. Okay. And so I took my wife and I flew out to this event to learn what it was, and it was a very intimate little setting, right? It wasn't very many people.
How did you get Andrea out?
She was, because it was Scottsdale. We went. This was at a beautiful resort in Scottsdale.
I don't think that's
Arizona.
a problem with anybody.
Yeah, so we, she got to sit by the pool, and
Nice.
but regardless, so I went to this meeting, and this guy was sitting in the front of the room, asking all kinds of intelligent questions, and and I was.
It sounds like Jerry.
Yeah, and I was listening to him. I was like, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. And at this point, I knew nothing about this industry, nothing at all. I could barely even use a computer. So I pulled Jerry aside, and we started chit-chatting. We had a lot of stuff in common. We went out that first night, and we had some beers together, and he met my wife, and I met your daughter at that point, right?
Possibly, yes.
Yeah, you think your
That's
daughter
right.
was there. I met her, and we stayed in contact. And so while the job that I had, while I was selling heavy equipment is what I was doing. I was driving everywhere.
In Montana, right?
Wyoming.
Wyoming. You always told me there was like no cell
There-
connection.
There's it was hard, but I remember like, I gotta, I would be thinking to myself all along, like, I have got to find something else. And no matter what I was doing, it wasn't working. So I was always staying in contact with Jerry because he did know what he was doing. And I was like, it's funny back then when you don't have much, and I'm thinking, all I need is like 8 or 10 grand a month. That's all I need, And I knew he was already doing this. So Jerry was always very helpful to me and giving me ideas and things I could do. So that was really the setting and how I met Jerry and how we stayed in contact. So
That's amazing. So Alex, tell us a little bit about your history.
So, Alex D, I'm from Dallas, Texas. It's really funny, I did investments for a long time. I'm like on the opposite scale from these guys, which is what makes such a good partnership. So, basically, it was about 3 years ago, actually, I did investments in a lot of things, but then like 3 years ago, basically I had about $462 in my checking account, and I went to a Tony Robbins course in Dallas, and I just met my fiance, and always dreamt about moving to California. So at the end of that, you got a free coach, and the coach basically said, hey, you got your family in Dallas, but you always dreamt about California, so go ahead, make a choice. And so I decided to move out to California. So what does every respectable 39-year-old do when they only have $462 in their checking account? they move in with mom, right?
Right.
You know what's the great thing about mom? Like, they always love to have you back. Even like 55, you're like, come back home, no problem. So, but it was, you know, I knew it was something temporary, but it basically, it was great. But within 2 months, I was just extremely fortunate. I met 2 partners. We launched a private equity firm. We do mostly real estate, assisted living, senior living centers. And I just learned very quickly, like, that business. And that business model is just based on helping companies scale from like 500,000 to $1 million to 5 million to 10 million. And all we do is build out infrastructures for them. So that's our basic job, right? So as we're doing this, I was actually, we had money that we put to work, and it was basically done. And I was pretty much done for the year. At the same time, I was traveling a lot though too. So it was kind of you know, I was traveling all the time. I wasn't seeing my fiance. I wasn't seeing my mom. And one of the weekends, my mom actually got sick and she was in the hospital. And yet I'm in like New York, Miami, and Chicago. And so the whole time I'm traveling, you know, it was kind of touch and go. We didn't know where it was going to go for a while. So we basically, you know, by the time I got back, fortunately, everything worked out. But one thing that taught me was the fact that I could not keep doing that business where I'm on the road all the time, not seeing my family, not doing the things that was really important to me. So I started basically researching online, and based on, you know, we studied 200 business models. I just knew online was the way it was going to be. Like, this is like the now, and it's the future. So I wanted to find something online that would allow me, because that would give me the time freedom, that would allow me to be home. And sure enough, you know, and we looked at a business model which these 2 guys were involved with, and I found them, and that's kind of how we met. And so after we met, it was just really funny because I just bugged the heck out of them, right? Because these guys were doing extremely well, and I was the one on the call, like, asking 30 questions, like, all the time.
All the time.
All the time. And Brian would just literally say, like, who is this Alex guy? Like, you know.
I remember thinking that.
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot. Like, what's he with?
He was so excited. He was so motivated. He was,
well, the thing was, the business model was so good.
Yeah.
Like, it had every component we were looking for. I mean, I was actually researching franchises, right? And so I'm like, okay, let's go franchise. Every franchise that I saw was like a brick and mortar. You had to put a ton of money in, and then you didn't get any of the freedom. You got inventory, you got employees. You're talking about, you know, being able to make like I would research it and find out like I would go ask the top franchisees in there. I'm like, how are you guys doing? And they would say, oh, you know, I'm doing like 1-2 million in sales. I'm like, oh, that's great. And then, you know, 5 years later now, what, you know, how much profit are you taking home? And they would say, like, you know, barely 6 figures. I'm like, okay, here's the magic question. It's been 5 years, you've built this business. How many hours are you working right now? All of them 40 to 60 hours. So I'm like, that's not time freedom. That's basically being an employee in your own business. So, and then I'm looking at Brian here. He's like, he's doing well. He's in Colorado. He's going on family vacations all the time. And, you know, I'm like, that's the lifestyle that I really wanted to have. And so, you know, that's kind of how we all met. You know, we had a previous business that had the, like, I would say, like, the foundation of what our business is now, but it was missing so many components. And so when I met Brian and Jerry, they were doing extremely well. And we said, hey, look, guys, if we're going to build this, like, we really need to have some components in. And so I love systems. So, and so we started building out these systems. And the funny part was with Brian, right? So I met Brian first, and we were on call, and then all of a sudden, like, I just basically said, you know, I called him out and I said, hey, you know, what are you doing this weekend? And just like miraculously, like, him and his wife, like, are always together. She was just happened to be out of town that weekend, right?
She was out of town.
Like, out of like 11 years or something. Like, he told me, like, it never happened.
Right.
So it was just really funny.
Right.
So as soon as he said that, I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, I'm coming to Colorado. So I'm like, I'm coming in this weekend. He's like, okay. So we came in. It was just really funny because I just came in, and he makes fun of it because I came straight from the airport. I went straight to a Best Buy, bought a whiteboard, and I came over.
He came over to my house, yeah, with a whiteboard and some markers, and, you know, he's like, okay, now I'm gonna show you what it is I'm doing, because ultimately, right, with this, in this kind of a business, like, if you go back to where Jerry and I were before we met, he could do it, I could do it, but nobody else could do it, you know. And that was where Alex really fit in, because he had a system in place that would allow everybody to be able to do it, which is ultimately what you want, right?
So Alex introduced a duplicatable system to both of you?
Correct.
Okay.
And so Brian was doing really well, and so I'm like, hey, so here's what we're doing. So we drew up everything on a whiteboard. I showed it to him, and Brian was funny because he's like, so man, so you know, this is awesome. He's like, you know, can I buy this from you? And I said, no, but we can partner up. That's what we said, because I knew what's great about Brian, he genuinely like cares about people, and so that's the one thing that made me draw out to him is the fact that, you know, he was doing extremely well at the time, and you know, and he really, you know, what I love about people who are successful, they're always looking to get to the next level, and he wanted to make sure that everybody that was in the business was doing well. So he basically reached out and said, like, you know, hey, he was very transparent. He's like, hey, this is all the, you know, issues, and this is stuff we've got to work on. So when we showed him the system, he's like, this is great. And so that's how Brian and I basically met at that time.
Yep.
So Brian, I know you had an opportunity to partner up with other business associates at that time too. Why did you pick Alex? What made you go with Alex?
Yeah.
Well,
Why did you?
Well, it's funny, and I would tell Jerry this too, because we'd be, like you said, we were on these calls all the time, and he would just kind of be in the background, you know, asking a ton of questions. I'd be working on my computer, and I would get lots of Facebook messages or Skype messages from him. Hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? And both of Jerry and I are very, you know, I'll help anybody if you want to ask. You know, there's nothing to hide, right? So I would answer all of his questions. And then one day, I believe we were on a call, and I was listening to you talk. And then I remember calling Jerry afterwards, like, this guy's doing real good, you know? I mean, I think he's on to something. And actually, I think I had messaged you.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, Alex, can we talk after this call? Because I wanted to hear what you were doing. And then you called me and said, hey, you said, hey, can you come to California this weekend?
Yeah,
that's what
that's
it was.
right.
And I said, well, I can't do that. My wife's out of town. You know, I can't go to California, but I said, come here, you know, and then that's really what happened. So
An hour later, he receives a text with my flight info.
yeah, he goes, here's my flight info. I'll be there this weekend. So, and it was funny. He's like, and I'm going to stay at this hotel down in Denver. And I thought it was funny because I was like, dude, I'm literally an hour away from Denver. So he's like, well, do you have any 5-star hotels where you live? I said, you know, honestly, we don't. I live in a college town. There is no 5-star hotels there, but there's a Marriott Garden Inn or a Marriott Residence Inn. You can stay there, you know. So he did.
So I sacrificed for
He sacrificed for me. Yeah.
I can tell you that I remember literally hearing Alex D's name, and you could tell that we have 3 different personalities, right? You know, one's more, you know, mild mannered,
straight shooter.
one middle of the road, and the other one is, you know, his personality is way up there. So I remember actually on the calls, literally, I would have my earbuds in. I would literally have to take off my earbuds because his volume would be so high. The excitement, the energy level would be way up here. And that happened every time, Alex. That happened every time. Thank you so much for breaking the eardrums.
That's great. That's great. So, Jerry, while you're at it, why don't you tell us what 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle is? You know, the inner operations. How does it all work?
You got a hard question.
Yeah, no, he threw it
Why
out
do
to
you give
you.
me that?
You want me to take that one?
Leave that for Alex.
It's pretty complex, but that's what people want to know.
Yeah. You know, to me, 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle is it's a franchise-like business model. It's an online digital business model that people can follow a step-by-step system to make their dreams come true. Okay. Now the infrastructure behind that, yes, there are some technical steps, but you know, with Alex, Brian, and myself, we've created a training system that anybody can follow. That literally, in my opinion, takes the best of all different business models that I've been a part of. Okay, that goes back to the world of network marketing, even to have my own video production company. It gives people something that they can be proud of, that they can call their own. Because as a independent business owner of 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle, every person can make their dreams come true. Okay, the income levels that they're looking for, they can be proud to represent. You know, basically state-of-the-art, top-class, high-class products that are digital. Because if you want to be part of the future, which is the new era today, which is it's the online world, you have to have digital products. Okay, so today we have the best products that revolve around either Facebook, YouTube, social media marketing, just to name a few. So today, when someone like a guy like Brian, who had a storefront, to somebody who's literally in my business today, was a contractor, literally just made $53,000 in 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle passively. Now this is a guy who's not technical and used to climb ladders and take care of roofing and deal with $1 million contracts as a contractor. If he could figure it out in 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle, anybody can. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but we get pretty passionate when we realize that 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle, it is a business model that anybody can take from day one, and in 30 days, okay, and I really truly mean this, and I'll be conservative, in 30, 60, 90 days, can replace their full-time income, okay, of what they usually take in a year, could make in their first 30, 60, 90 days, with enough motivation, with enough direction, and with coaching. And as long as they're willing to be coached, they can make it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So, Alex, we're here at the San Francisco event. We just got done with the event yesterday.
Right.
You launched the products. It was a great launch. And
Relaunch.
A relaunch. Now, we got rid of 80% of our old products,
right,
and replaced it with some amazing products. Can you talk a little bit
Yeah,
about what
sure.
those products
So,
are?
I mean, essentially when we started out, there's two parts to our business. There's the business and there's the products, right? So for the first year in our business model, all we focused on was the business. We're like, how do we get people focused more on duplicating, making sure they're great? So we built out a community, which is an unbelievable culture. People love it. Like, they're all like almost best friends now. They're all getting along, and you have business owners, professionals, and retirees. Those are the three that basically are the components of what we have, right? They're attracted to this business model because they want to be able to do something from home, spend more time with their kids, their grandkids, and be able to have that time freedom. So that's the first part. So what we did is we launched a funnel. And a funnel, in case you guys don't know, it's a very cool, it's a website that converts. That's what we call it, okay? So we did and that basically took our business through the roof. We were growing about 15-20% every month, right? So we have a community, we have a financing system. We put all these different things. We put a training system, as we mentioned. We literally call it over your shoulder training system. It's all on videos because people have to do it on their own time, at their own pace, so they can start out part-time and they can still have success. So all these things are basically set up. So once the business was working very well, we went back to the products that we had originally licensed. The products that we had, we just basically upgraded. So have you heard of Tony Robbins?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So imagine now the Tony Robbins of LinkedIn, the Tony Robbins of YouTube, the Tony Robbins of Facebook, social media. So when I get excited, I'm really excited because I know how good the products are, right? So people can be able to go now and learn how to market online, because let's face it, as Jerry had said, it's no longer the future, it is the present. 60% of jobs today are basically either getting outsourced or automated, according to Forbes magazine, in 5 years from now. So if we know that, McDonald's just had 2,500 kiosks put in. Cashiers are disappearing, right? Why? Because companies care more about profits than they do about people. And so what do you need to build? You need to know how to market online. And what's the best way to do it? Well, just like me, I was traveling 42 out of 52 weeks a year. I wanted to learn how to market online, and I went and researched everything. I wanted something where I didn't have to learn everything. I wanted something that was already built, and it just didn't exist. There wasn't something. Everything had said, hey, come take a course and we'll teach you how to do YouTube. Come take a course and we'll teach you how to do Facebook. I'm like, do people really realize that the average person has barely time to breathe between the hours they work, the times they come home, the traffic they fight? By the time they get home, they got maybe a couple hours with the kids. Like, they don't have time to figure this out. So we basically reverse engineered the model. We said, look, forget learning. Let's get you making money, and let's have a system that's already working. So learning is important, but let's make money first. And then once we free up this beautiful 40 hours that you're spending having to pay for bills, right? Now you can actually go and focus on learning what you just did. So it's kind of cool because our members are like, hey, I just made 10,000 my first 30 days or whatever the case study may be. And of course I tell everyone like, not, you know, whether you succeed is completely up to you. We guarantee no results, really. But what we do is we give you a system where a lot of our members are having success. So once they're able to free that up, so now they're like, oh wow, now that I saw how I made this money, let's go back and see how I did it. Let me spend a little more time learning about YouTube. Let me learn some more times about social media, right? And there's two components to our business model. Either you, if you really want to learn it, because we're telling you that online is going to be, if you learn the online business, you're going to learn how to market anything, any product, any service for the next 20 years. It's not going anything. It's the most beautiful model I've ever seen. It's the only model I've seen for 20 years that's never gone down. It keeps going up and up and up and up, right? And gives you the time freedom. You can be able to do it from anywhere. You're mobile. We're here in beautiful San Francisco. I'm about to go spend a month in Vancouver, and I'm going to go travel for another month. This guy takes family vacations more than anybody I know. Every time I see him, like, he goes to Cancun, he takes his kids. It's a beautiful thing, right? He's got 3 kids he gets to spend time with. He gets to be a great dad. He gets to be an awesome husband. And him as well. I mean, he loves his family, right? So he has his kids. They're going through college right now. His wife's a teacher, and he can provide a really nice living. Just bought a new car. Congratulations. And what I'm saying is that that's what it's really about, right? So you get that time flexibility. So our business model is based on 2 components. If you want to learn this for the future, if you want to learn it for yourself, great. Or if you just don't, you know, you want to be able to use a system and you have done-for-you systems, because that's the new model today. In 2017, it's done for you. There's all kinds of things that are out there done for you. This didn't exist a year ago. It does now because the technology allows us to have that. So you can hire social media managers. You can hire these people, do all the work for you. And so whether you don't have enough, if you want to learn it and you want to do it yourself, or you want to have it done for you and you don't have the time, you rather do other things, we have those 2 components in place for anyone so that they could succeed and get what they want from their lives.
Great.
One other thing though, just to add to that, at least when I was looking in the early stages, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, and the fact is, you were talking about courses that you could buy, right? So you buy a LinkedIn course. That's only going to get you to here, right? The problem with that is then they're going to hit you with an upsell. Okay, now you got to buy something again to get to here. If you want to know more, you got to buy something again and get to here. And so that was one component that we had, right? Where when there's no upsells with us. You know what I mean? Like you get access to all of these products for one price. And there's not going to be another, okay, well now you want to learn more, you got to buy, you know,
Right.
and that's what's really great. So we wanted to encompass everything all in one.
Awesome. So I know the people that made it to this event got first dibs on these new products.
Yeah, so we got a pre-launch and then a launch coming up in 3 months from now at our next event in Miami.
Is that the day when the whole community gets access to these digital products?
Actually, everyone that's involved in the community will get it in September, but our next event is going to be all about launching the products moving forward and basically sharing. But they'll have access absolutely in their back office.
Great.
And we're talking about everything from YouTube, social media, how to do joint ventures, all these things that are important today in the online world, taught by the best in that industry. We're not talking about like flimsy products just put in the back office. We're talking about the best.
Current.
Because that's what we wanted. We wanted people to learn from the best, and again, they can either learn and do it themselves, or they can partner with the product owners and have it done for them. Right? Let's give you an example. Brian, myself, and Jerry, like, you know, I love to learn it, but after I learn it, I love to outsource it. I just want to learn it so I can understand the business, right? So when you understand the business, then you know how to manage it. But then you can outsource it, shoot a couple of videos, you know, a week, and then basically give it to them, and they'll do what they do best, and they'll get that content out there, right? YouTube, huge, right? We all heard of YouTube. It's absolutely fantastic. How's it? All these people are making like 6 figures and 7 figures off of YouTube. Do you know how much they spend on advertising?
Zero.
What kind of a business? You're a pawn shop. If I told you, did you ever make 7 figures without having to do any advertising ad spend?
The funny thing about with my pawn shop, and I think about this, is I used to spend $5,000 a month on a Yellow Pages ad. and it only went to went to one little town.
Yeah,
Right.
That's
so
it.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And Think about that. He had inventory, brick and mortar, he had employees, he had all these hassles. Today, you can literally go film 2 videos, put it on YouTube, and if you know how to put the keywords, the great part is Google is looking for you. They're looking for your business. And just imagine you being able to make a few videos, put it online, put the right keywords. All of a sudden, Google finds everyone that's looking for you, because when they're searching for you, and they get brought to your product and your service. And people are literally doing that today for literally less than an hour, 2 hours with 0 ad costs. That's what makes this business model so attractive.
Amazing. So Jerry, a lot of people want to know how we generate leads. I mean, they get the idea that, you know, it's about a franchise-like online business, and it's about selling the business. Along with that business comes these amazing digital products that if you actually learn and apply to your business, you'll make money. Now, tell us just briefly how these leads are generated. How are we able to reach out to so many people on a daily basis?
Included in 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle is we have a system. It utilizes 2 very key wealth strategies of marketing: outsourcing and automation. It's so important. Now, this to me was how I was gonna, I saw the future when Brian called me, actually, because it was really based on utilizing a lot about automation. And we teach people how to use certain tools that I can't get directly into on this video, okay? Because that would give away our secrets. And the fact of the matter is that outsourcing, let's first talk about automation, right? Let's remember where I came from, okay? I would literally be talking to people in restaurants, and that would be my prospecting. That would be it, okay? So it would be face to face, okay? Now, that's where, okay, these other businesses are very limited. It's not duplicatable, okay? To be talking to people in restaurants all day long, taking up all your time, you want to spend more time with your family. So we basically teach people how to utilize certain tools like email marketing, okay? Using email marketing, using text messaging, because text messaging, let's face it, today is really how people communicate. So how would you like to really communicate with prospects? Through text messaging. It's very important that we show people how to use these tools, and that's where automation kicks in. Now, outsourcing is where Alex was talking about, where you could literally learn something and then outsource it. So we have a training program where we have people that already know how to literally help you with the day-to-day grind to run your business. And these are people that are literally waiting to be hired to work for you to take care of these day-to-day activities. And I was looking for that, so much so because I was working a 40 to 50 week per hour week, and I was driving 2 hours a day, one way. So imagine you're driving, because everybody's driving, like Alex said, everybody's driving. It takes 8 to 10 hours to get to places, to work full time. Then you're actually driving back and forth to work. Then you got to take care of your family. So how do you really, how can you generate leads? Bottom line is outsourcing and automation.
Awesome, thank you, that was a great answer. Alex.
So when I first saw the business model too, we were looking at essentially what they were doing, right? So we actually took it to our private equity attorneys, and all I said is like, look, we can build systems around this thing. So basically, pump it up, get everything that's missing, all the gaps, right? All I want to know is the compliance aspect of it, right? So the reason why I had to say it's very simple, because it's a licensing model, but the licensing is based on digital products, and that's what they said. They said, look, all they're doing is just licensing products, but they're digital. The reason why we're not familiar with it, because we don't understand that digital world, right? We understand, okay, I can go license a physical product. Great, like what I'm used to seeing, like Amazon, you can go license it and be able to market it. In today's world, digital is the best business model you can have. You want to know why?
Why?
No inventory. It's all in place, of course. There's lots of great content, good value. No inventory, no hassles, no obligations, no employees, all the things this guy had to deal with in his pawn shop, right? So you think about it, what does that also do? It increases your profit margin, right? So imagine being able to have these awesome courses, great content that actually teaches people how to be able to make money online, which is really where we're at, right? And then imagine not having to have recurring business expenses because you license it. When you license it, the way our model is structured right now is you're able to make 100% rights to resell, which means you pay for the licensing once, and you can make money over and over and over and over again with the sales you have. So just imagine you pay once and you're able to make 6 and 7 figures. Guess what happens with the rest of it? It's all your profit. That's a significant profit margin. So what did you just do? You increase the amount that you're making significantly with the least amount of effort. And that to me that's why I'm here. That's why I love this business model that we've actually created. So when you put this together, that's what makes it work. You just got to get used to the idea of that you're just licensing digital products. Some people have courses that they teach and then they offer like an affiliate for 50%. Our model is more, we take those awesome courses, we make it available as a business platform, and it's made for 2 kinds of people. If you already have an existing business and you just want to learn how to market online, because you have to know that today. Yellow Pages he just talked about, boom, it's gone. Forget that. Where are people today? Facebook, YouTube, social media, Snapchat, Twitter. That's where you need to market today, because that's where your audience is. So what's so great about like Facebook, analytics on that is insane. You know, like I have software that we pay like literally $500,000 to $1 million a year to do the analytics that Facebook does for you for free for running ads. It's insane, because you can market there. Facebook knows everything about you today, right? So if you know these things, and you don't have to understand it all. You just have to know that they exist and how to market it, right? And that's, I think, what we created. We created a really easy way for people that are not techie. We have a 72-year-old who's made, extreme amount of income, made over $50,000 online. I mean, she's doing better than half the online gurus I see out there, right? And she barely, before she met us, all she did was use her computer to play games, right? So those are the things that what makes it makes it very accessible and doable for anyone that's not a techie, that wants to be able to learn how to generate income and be able to ease into that online process.
Thank you for that. So this is going to be a question for all of you. Your answers can play into one another. Tell me, where do you see the future of 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle going?
I'm gonna go first. You gonna go?
Brian should go first.
I should go first.
Yeah.
Okay.
You haven't talked that much right now, bro.
No, I know. It's. I'm just here to look good.
I thought you were gonna say your eye candy.
That's what he called it. No, you know what? The future right now, we are here, obviously in the United States, right? In Canada, we have members from Canada, but I see the future going overseas and definitely going international with this deal, bringing people from all over the globe in to show them exactly what we're doing here and how it can be done in really any market, because it doesn't matter. That's the beautiful thing about the internet, is it's everywhere, and it doesn't have to be confined just to the United States. So the next thing for us, I would say, is going global.
Going global. How
global.
about you, Jared?
Yeah, I have to agree, which is probably one of the most exciting things, is to see it go global. But I will tell you this, that this probably will be very surprising of an answer, but I will say that, people don't talk to friends and family now for business because they think they're too scared. Or people like in my world in the past, basically they just went to their warm market and they burned that bridge years ago. But I see the future, it's going to be a safe zone going forward. Friends and family, warm market.
Yeah, even though they don't have to do that in our business, you're saying that they would want to, because it works.
Right. The question really had to do with the future.
Right.
Whether people see it right now, but I see the future very close where that would be a reality.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How about you, Alex?
What I see is a whole breed of people that are going to start seeing their jobs become automated and obsolete, that are going to start researching online. And what I am truly hoping is that they find the answers before that happens, because it's going to happen to them. Like it's coming. It's either going to be tomorrow, the next day, a week, sometime in the next 5 years it's going to happen. So the question is, are they going to be prepared for it? So what I see is we're going to have an absolute avalanche of people coming in that are going to be business owners, that just like Brian, who realized, they got into that business for the idea that one day that they would be able to have time freedom, but they realized that business model doesn't give them that. Professionals who basically are probably going to find out that they're going to get fired, or they're just not going to be able to sustain that living, or they realize they're not getting a lifestyle. They might get the income, but they're not having a lifestyle. And then definitely retirees. Retirees are who are really coming online because they don't feel like they have a choice. They got to be able to make money in a place where they don't have to move around anymore because they're not as mobile, and yet they're totally scared of the internet, right? Because like they didn't grow up with us, you know. They didn't, I had to learn the internet. I'm in my 40s, and so did these guys. We weren't like 20-year-olds with chips in our heads, where came out like with basically a Wi-Fi connection when we were born, right? So they're going to learn how to be able to really take advantage of a system online like they've never seen before. That's going to ease them into that process of being to actually generate income online. That's what I see happening with 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle.
Great. So I know that all three of you wouldn't have wasted your resources, your time, your money to make this happen, to build the infrastructure if you didn't think of the longevity. And that's what people are concerned about. A lot of people are concerned about the fact, if I invest this money, if I buy this business, this franchise-like online system, is it for the long term? So 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle is here to stay.
Yeah.
Would you say?
I'll say that. I think that's why we spent an incredible amount of time. Number one, building I said there was 2 parts, business and products. We got the business parts down, and now what we're really, we just basically just solidified the product side. So I think between the two, you're going to have a great amount of value for what you put, And the good part is you're going to be able to make a lot more than a franchise or a traditional business in a lot less time without any of the headaches. So I would say like that's the major thing from a longevity is like you're going to be able to do it and to be able to do it living the lifestyle you want.